Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dialogues from the President's Corner, featuring Dr. Czarda, President of Greensboro College, as well as our special guest today, Amy Grossmann, President of the North Carolina Folk Festival. How are you both feeling today?
Doing well. It's a beautiful day outside. Campus looks great.
It feels like early fall. I'm loving it. So today, in preparation of the Folk Festival, which is happening this weekend, we wanted to talk with Amy and Dr. Czarda about their work with the music festival. So, Amy, do you want to tell us about your career and what brought you to Greensboro as the president of the NC Folk Festival?
Yeah. So, I will just start by saying, I didn't go to college or grow up thinking that one day I was going to be a festival director. It wasn't something, in the admissions and everything that you could check off as a career goal. But, I will just go back to college since we are on a college campus. I went to SUNY Geneseo for my undergraduate degree, State University of New York in Western New York. And I was a music major. It wasn't long, after, doing that. I loved it. I was great. I was also a math major. But I decided, A, I didn't want to struggle with auditions the rest of my life as a performer. And B, I didn't want to just punch numbers the rest of my life. Nothing wrong with either. But that, that's just, not what I wanted to do either. And I happened to, just kind of come across some graduate programs in arts administration. And I decided, well, that's the perfect marriage of these two things that I really love, just administering things, managing things well, but also being involved in the arts. And so that led me to graduate school in Washington, D.C., where I got my master's in arts management. Still didn't know that I would be a festival director. Figured I'd be working at a performing arts center, which I did, the Kennedy Center, for a little while. But when that temporary job, ended, I was looking for work. And there was a small nonprofit outside of DC that had posted an ad in the Washington Post when classifieds were still in print media. And, I responded to, a search for a logistics coordinator for a festival. And that really started it. Obviously, I got the job and ended up working at that company for many years. And I just found this really amazing niche space within the arts that just really matched my interests, but also things that I was really good at, gave me immense exposure to also cultural traditions that I had never experienced before. And so that kind of just that became the focus, of my path in doing that. And so, I'll fast forward to what brought me to Greensboro. I had worked in a lot of different places across the country, just exploring different opportunities. It's not a straight line, I think, to any one thing. It can often be a circuitous route. And I was living in Baltimore, working at the State Arts Council there, a really wonderful organization, great job. I got to give money away. That was really fun. People loved getting calls from me. But I kind of missed doing the festival work. And when Greensboro was selected to host the National Folk Festival from 2015 to 17, I decided to throw my name in as a candidate to help lead that effort down here. I was looking to get back into the festival work, and it was just a great fit. And so that's what brought me to Greensboro.
Very interesting story, like the math and the music. That's, like you said, you don't usually go to school to become a folk festival president.
That's right.
So do you want to talk about the relationship between the national and the North Carolina Folk Festival a little bit?
Yeah. So, that time that I worked at that small nonprofit outside of DC, that's what they did. They produced folk festivals. And so I had an opportunity to work in festivals in Lowell, Massachusetts, Bangor, Maine, East Lansing, Michigan, Richmond, Virginia. And that organization is the organization that has been producing the National Folk Festival since 1934. In St. Louis, Missouri. And this organization takes the National Folk Festival to different communities. The idea is to plant a seed for that community, do a 3-year residency of the National, and then after that residency, that community is set up to produce its own festival. And so that's the organization I worked with back in the early 2000s. And again, when, Greensboro was selected to be one of those host communities to have the 3-year residency, I already had familiarity with the event, but I was on the other side of the contract, if you will, working for the local community. So that is the legacy from which the North Carolina Folk Festival was born, is out of that legacy of the National Folk Festival going back to 1934. It was the first festival in this country that put the arts of different people, diverse peoples, on stage on an equal footing. And so we try to carry forward that practice today.
That mission sounds incredible. It created these local chapters and spin-offs. So
that's exactly right. Several of those communities that used to host the national are continuing to this day, continue on with their legacy events.
So Dr. Czarda, do you want to talk about your relationship with the Folk Festival and what is the college's relationship to the festival?
My involvement goes back about a decade when the city was first approached to compete for the National Folk Festival. And so I've seen this evolve over 10 years. This is our 9th Folk Festival coming up in September. And so my involvement has been on the board of both Arts Greensboro, who was the kind of the umbrella group for arts in Greensboro, as well as the North Carolina Folk Festival Board. I have finished my term on the board. I finished as chairman, so I'm the immediate past chair, but still serve on the advisory board to the Folk Festival. And still involved. I volunteer every year, mainly begging for money, actually, not giving away money for the Folk Festival. We make the point that it is completely free to anyone who attends, completely free, but it costs us $1.2 million to make it happen. As far as the college's involvement, we're right downtown. I mean, you literally can walk to everything in the Folk Festival within 5 to 10 minutes. So it's a great advantage for our faculty, students, and staff. But our School of the Arts faculty have from time to time been involved in getting their classes involved, even just watching the sets being built and the stages being built and the lighting. Professor John Sari in particular has taken advantage of that, where he'll take his class down as the stages are being built, and then he requires his students to attend a performance and then kind of critique, how it worked and what worked and so on. So long history. I actually slightly predate Amy in terms of being involved with the festival.
Since you both have been working with the festival for a few years now, what do you say are some of your favorite memories just going out and listening to all this beautiful music?
The 3 days that people experience, it takes a full year to plan every detail of it. And, it can be exhausting. It can be exhilarating. It can be rewarding. It can be challenging. It can be all of those things. And probably one of the greatest pleasures that I get is during the festival when I'm just sitting backstage and I just look out and I see people just smiles on their faces, dancing. Yeah, I love the performances on stage, but I love watching people enjoy the fruits of our labor and the labor that my team puts into it year round. That's probably the biggest thing every year.
And we probably should note, Matthew, that this draws between 80 and 100 and some thousand people to Greensboro every festival. It is a very significant event.
Amy, do you want to talk about some of the highlights happening this year since the festival starts this Friday?
Yeah, one of the things that I'm very excited about is this new partnership we have with an organization called Ethno USA. It's an organization that is based in Brussels, Belgium. And what they do is they convene young musicians, from all parts of the world in a space together, and they just share music. They teach each other music. It's a peer-to-peer learning kind of thing. So what's going to happen is these ethno folks are already here in town, and they start workshopping. They spend 3 or 4 days together workshopping, teaching music. And the culmination of that is that they will put on 2 90-minute concerts during the festival. So that again will be the fruits of what they had been working on earlier in the week. And I'm really excited about it because there's going to be anywhere from 30 to 40 young musicians from about, I can't remember exactly how many countries, 12 or 15 countries that apply to be part of this. So we're going to have this international gathering of young, talented folk musicians who are going to get to showcase what they do. So I'm really, really excited about being able to do that this year.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to hearing it. I know the Greensboro community is looking forward to hearing it too.
And again, the range of performers from all over the world. I mean, in the past, we've had Mongolian throat singers, which was amazing. And one of my highlights is standing backstage having a chance to talk to George Clinton.
Man, that's the resume top right there.
Hard to top that.
So thank you, Amy, for joining us today. And thank you again, Dr. Czarda, for being here. Thank you all for listening. And be sure to come out to the North Carolina Folk Festival happening this weekend. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.